Stay tuned to see how I made this nutcracker from a fence board. Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be crafting. My sister recently showed me a really adorable picture on Pinterest of a nutcracker fence board. So I thought I would try to make that, and I would love it if you would follow along. So some of the supplies I used were this tablecloth here as a drop cloth. I picked up some paint from Michael's and this little fleur-de-lis from Michael's as well, and a couple of these cheap little chip brushes. Right here is a gallon of paint that I actually got from my dad, left over from an exterior paint job, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint my boards with it as a base coat. And this here is the fence board that I used. It is 6 feet tall by almost 12 inches wide. Next, I'm going here and I'm just giving it a quick base coat with this white paint. And while I have that white paint out, I'm gonna go ahead and paint this fleur-de-lis at the same time. Here I am measuring up 12 inches and marking a straight line across. I'm then taking some masking tape and putting the tape right above the line. I will then take another piece of masking tape and put that directly above the first piece of masking tape. Now, on top of that, I am measuring up an additional 12 inches and drawing a straight line across. This time, instead of using masking tape, I'm actually going to be using some washi tape. It's one of the thinner pieces of washi tape, and I'm putting that across the line. Now, I am measuring the center of the board from the washi tape down and marking where that is. I will then take one strip of masking tape and center it over my line all the way to the bottom. This paint was from Michael's and it only cost 70 cents, and here I'm using the black color. I'm painting the bottom portion of the board. This will be the Nutcracker's boots. I'm being careful around the tape edges to dab up and down as you would with a stencil, as to not push paint under the tape. I will be using peacock blue for the next two sections up the board. This will be the Nutcracker's pants. Again, I'm using the same method I did with the boots. Moving up the board, I am going to mark 4 inches up from the washi tape line and draw a straight line across. This will make the bottom of the Nutcracker shirt. I will then take a piece of masking tape and mark right above the line. I'm going to use Holiday Red for this section. Next, I am measuring up about 2 3/4 of an inch and marking that and drawing a straight line across. I'm then taking a piece of tape and putting it directly below the line. After that, I'm going to skip up and measure 16.5 inches from that piece of tape. I will draw a line and put a piece of masking tape there, and next fill that whole big section in with red paint. Now, right above the top piece of masking tape, I'm going to add one more piece. From that point, I will measure up 8.5 inches and draw a straight line across and mark that with a piece of masking tape as well. Within this section, I am taking my ruler and placing it from the edge of the board and following it down the length of the ruler. I will do this on both sides to leave about a 1.5 to 2 inch gap. I'm then placing a piece of masking tape directly above the line so that I will not get any paint on the sides of the board as I paint the center. Here I am using the color peach to fill in that section for the Nutcracker's face. Once all of the paint is dry, I'm taking some blue painter's tape and putting it below the line for the top of the face. This way I can paint the hat black and have it meet up perfectly with his face when I remove the tape. I will do the same thing here on his waistline so that I can paint the belt black. And here below his face so I can paint his collar gold. The King's Gold came out a little bit light on the first coat, so I went in and did a second coat after this one dried. Once those coats were dry, I was able to pull away the tape and reveal the nice, sharp, crisp lines. Here I'm using a small straight edge paintbrush to paint the details of the belt. I'm using the same King's Gold paint. At the base of the board, I realized that where the boots are, I've painted this white center line down too far. So I'm going in a few inches up and painting it black to make it solid at the very base so that we can put the tips of the boots on next. Looking around the house, I found a couple different circular objects that I could maybe possibly use to trace, and this one looks like it's the right fit. So I'm taking my pencil and just tracing around half of the shape. Now going in with my white paint, I will follow that outline with a small tipped paintbrush. Next, I'm measuring out where I want the boot laces to go. I'm marking it on both boots, and then I will go back with my white paint and follow the pencil marks. Here's a great little trick for making perfect circular dots. Take the end of a pencil, use the eraser end, dip it in your paint, and just press it onto the surface you're painting. It works like a charm. When it comes to painting the face on your Nutcracker, you don't have to be an artist. You could go online and print up an image and do the same thing that I'm going to do here, or use a drawing. On this one, I had my mom draw the Nutcracker's face, and I simply folded the paper in half and traced it onto the other half so it would be perfectly symmetrical. Once you have your image, you want to flip that over and take a pencil and just scribble all over the areas that you want to come through. Make sure you put plenty of pencil marks on there. Now take your image and put it scribbled side down. Line it up where you're planning to rub it on and use some painter's tape to secure it into place. Now simply take your pencil and follow the outline of the image. I'm going back and forth in the area to make sure that it transfers to the other side. Occasionally I will peek through to make sure it's actually working, and just continue on for the whole face. I'm extending my mustache a little bit further out than my printed image because I want it to extend past his face onto the white portion of the board. Once my image is transferred onto the wood, it is time to paint, and it's as easy as filling in the lines. Here is an assortment of buttons that I'm going to use for this project. I had them at home because we hang on to all extra buttons, but you could purchase them. I'm taking some needle nose pliers and bending and twisting to see if these little hooks will come off. They won't, so I'm bending them over to make them as flat as possible. Next, I'm measuring and marking where I want the placement of these buttons across his shirt front. I picked up this gold chain from Joann's Fabric. It was normally $3.50, I believe, and I got it on sale for $2.50. I'm measuring here to see how much I need to cut. And once I determine how much I need, I'm taking some needle nose pliers and just prying one of the links open, and it was very simple. Once I have that, I will measure out 2 more strips so that I have 3 in total. Next, I'm lining up my smaller set of buttons, 6 in total, so that I can glue everything in place. Now, moving up to the hat, I'm marking where I want the next set of buttons and chains to go. I will have 2 rows on the hat here. And for the final touch, I'm measuring out to see where the center of his hat is and gluing on our white fleur-de-lis. And there you have it, our finished Nutcracker. I'm really pleased with the way he turned out. I think my sister is going to love him, and I definitely know that her 4-year-old little guy is really gonna love him. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you can, please subscribe to my channel. I would love for you to come back again.